Well, welcome back, Wolfpack. Verlis here, and somehow there's Pokemon news to talk about today. Middle of July, no trailer announcement, but quite a bit is going on, and we can break that down. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, share it with your friends, and comment your thoughts down below. This news just dropped. Send Ash and Pikachu off in the final episodes of Pokemon Ultimate Journeys, available September 8th on Netflix. So if you've been keeping up with the anime, you're waiting for those drops, we have the release for the final episodes with Ash. I've also been keeping an eye on what's going on at San Diego Comic-Con. Pokebeach been tweeting out, so we have figures of the first partner set being shown off there. Pretty cool set right here. Also, an announcement, the Pokemon panel at Comic-Con going to play the entire first episode of the Pokemon Horizons dub. They also announced, hey, the dub's coming, but we don't have the release date for that just yet. Still waiting on Ultimate Journeys. So we have, like, just news kind of happening, and then this announcement, kind of making the Pokemon community weird right now. Episode of Pokemon anime will reveal a Pokemon Scarlet and Violet mystery gift code tomorrow. So just an announcement of a code, not what's actually going, like, not what the gift is going to be. So we have to wait for that, and it's going to be tomorrow. So I just, like, randomly, in the middle of the night, we'll see announcements of, like, oh, this is a screenshot from the newest Pokemon anime episode, but I don't pay attention to the times. So 7 p.m. Japanese time Friday, which is going to be 3 a.m. for the West Coast. That's going to mess up my Pokemon sleep schedule. I'm kind of interested in seeing, you know, what content I can unlock in that game and maybe just actually try to have a good sleeping cycle or go for those high score points. The social engineering of Pokemon Sleep actually kind of hitting me pretty strong right now. I'm looking forward to going to sleep and making my Pokemon stronger and feeding Snorlax. Kind of wild. Either way, we're going to see, like, the announcement happening in a little over 12 hours. But that does not stop the Pokemon Elite community of weirdos from being weirdos. So there's been rumors of news soon, which is just complete garbage. Just like how there's always a new Nintendo Direct around the corner. This month, guys, Nintendo Direct this month. New Nintendo Switch announcement happening soon. TM. Always just lies and garbage. I just don't get why they wouldn't reveal what Pokemon it is unless they want a little bit of a surprise. The thing is, everyone in the Pokemon Elite community is an idiot that understands nothing about Pokemon, or they're just lying for attention, which is still a really stupid thing to do because social media is just making everyone dumb. I feel like the webmaster of PokeExperto is kind of close here, but makes a good point. Anything not already programmed into the games would need an update before that, so we already have everything data mined from the new update, so it can't be anything fantastical that the Elite community is, again, just lying about like they always do. Food for thought, there's no Tera event scheduled this weekend. I don't think there has to be a Tera event scheduled for every week, and I feel like it's already too late that we need the 0 UTC update for the Tera event, because that happens Thursday. The most logical theory is that this weekend we will have a surprise event of Mew against Mewtwo in Tera Raid battles or cross-promotion of Scarlet Violet Unite and the anime. I don't think the cross-promotion too much. We haven't really seen that for, like, the mystery gifts. I don't think it's going to be like, oh, we get Mew and then immediately the Mewtwo event unlocks. I mean, I guess what the Pokemon Presents, wasn't that Walking Wake and Iron Leaves, and it did become, like, available at 10 a.m. Pacific time or something? I don't think this random announcement for the anime that doesn't have any global announcement from the Pokemon Company is going to have that much of an impact. I think you can get your Mew now, if this is even Mew. Like, the Mew event could just still be next month or later at some point. But you could get your Mew now and then use it for the event that's happening after the Rillaboom raid. Rillaboom is going to be July 28th through the 30th, and then August 4th through the 6th. So we already have that announcement, which means, yeah, we don't have anything for this week, but maybe we just don't need anything for this week, and now everything gets crammed, and after that, wow, it's already getting into August. Kids are going back to school, and then that means we're also getting a bit closer to the DLC release. And the reason why anyone would think any of this to begin with is because of the data mine. So Scarlet Violet version 1.3.2 added an interesting message. Mew is going all out against this formidable opponent. This is used when Mew enters a 7-star Mewtwo raid. Now, people were also just kind of like making up all kinds of fake leak things about this message when, yeah, obviously it's going to be something about raids, and then Mewtwo seems natural, not any kind of extra crazy mechanics or something related to the DLC just yet. And then Mew gets a 50% hit point boost, 20% stat boost to all 5 other stats. That pesky Occam, always debunking the Pokemon leak community and their nonsense. So yeah, Mew Tera Raid battle at some point. Does that mean, like, we're just going to get the Mew Mystery Gift now? Is there going to be something else related to it? Is this actually just a very secret hidden Easter egg to where there's not even going to be a Mew event? It's just going to be for the people that already have Mew from Pokemon Go, other promotions. Maybe there's going to be a mythical thing happening next month or just later down the road, and this data is just in there. We've seen it to where, like, bits and pieces of future content are kind of tested or just left into earlier versions of the game. So this could happen before DLC as a part of, like, the next raid event. There could be a major promotion behind it. Or there's going to be, like, legendary raids with the DLC when, like, there's more interest inside of Pokemon. Or maybe there's just going to be, like, a major mythical campaign and it relates to legendaries in some kind of way. We don't really know, but, like, legendary Pokemon raids, that makes sense. Pokemon Sword and Shield DLC, Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, Omega Ruby, and Alpha Sapphire, the generational get every legendary Pokemon. Also, like, some weird things, because Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl had access to legendary Pokemon in a pretty interesting way. Either way, that could be what's going on here. Also, it means that it might not require DLC to get all the legendary Pokemon inside of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, because that was a big complaint about Pokemon Sword and Shield, saying that's pay to win, even though that means every National Dex interaction is pay to win, because you need to get the previous Pokemon game to then have that Pokemon to transfer over. And at this point, all the legendary Pokemon have been made available many times through many different games and even many different events. So yeah, calling it pay to win or saying that legendary Pokemon are paywalled now because Game Freak bad is just objectively stupid, but it is a nice thing to where it's just like, yeah, you have more content being added into the base game, and that could include legendary Pokemon, or it might be a part of the DLC in some kind of way. Either way, legendary raids, special interactions because of their difficulty or something, and then you can just, like, make Mew strats, and maybe it's a Mew gift, and maybe that is the announcement here, or it's just going to be some little thing. We also have another mystery gift coming up where a shiny Grimmsnarl is going to be available. Because of the major hacking problem ruining Pokemon, I don't really care about competitive Pokemon events or shiny Pokemon because, like, it's already worthless and doesn't have value. It would be cool where, like, if someone wanted one of these or you got it, and then down the road it's like, hey, I've got a shiny Grimmsnarl that's just good to go, and then you could trade it for a different competitive Pokemon or a shiny non-competitive Pokemon, and then there's a Pokemon trading economy through various means of just collecting rare Pokemon, accumulating gifts, or just trading off, like, rejects and Pokemon you don't want for other valuable Pokemon. Yay, it would be cool, but then with this, like, okay, I mean, if you want a Grimmsnarl, it's not that crazy competitive. If you happen to be playing the game and you remember, you can just grab it for free. It is a free Pokemon you may use at some point in the future. The shininess doesn't matter because of the event. So yeah, July 28th through August 18th, Pokemon World Championship promo. See how that develops. So we have gifts coming out. We got just merchandise stuff happening, Pokemon anime stuff happening, more things for the games, and it's all coming together. Also, a letter from the Pokemon Unite dev team talking about Mewtwo. Mewtwo's coming up to where it'll have different licenses, an X license and a Y license. Also, an update about legendary Pokemon. We would like to acknowledge that Zacian was excessively strong at release and in the following months. Our goal with Zacian was to tune it over time to reach the state it's currently in. That is horrendous game design. No wonder Pokemon Unite is dead, and no wonder it always had, like, so many pain points, even, like, trying to make it work. It deserved so much better, but then the community just, like, lied about it being pay to win, and then the devs didn't make the proper decisions and have just, like, walked in the footsteps of Riot for just every mistake in League of Legends instead of learning and trying to just make the best possible game from the start or something. I don't know. However, we recognize that our communication on the subject was limited, and the time it spent overpowered was prolonged. Why is that, like, a design goal, though, to release, like, excessively overpowered, when there's also been so many underpowered Pokemon releases, or, like, weird balance decisions in general? If you want a serious competitive game, you can't release something, like, if you want a serious competitive game, you can't deliberately release something Z-tiered just because, like, oh, it's a legendary Pokemon, so it's supposed to be that. We would like to explain our design philosophy behind legendary Pokemon moving forward and detail the steps we'll be taking to improve their arrival on Eos Island. Dang, this could have been worth its own video, but I guess since Pokemon Unite's dead, it kind of doesn't matter. The implementation of Zacian and Mewtwo, we would like to continue gradually increasing legendary Pokemon available in Pokemon Unite. We believe legendary Pokemon are an integral part of any game that contains Pokemon battles, which are indeed central to Pokemon Unite's unique format. This is another weird thing, because Urshifu is legendary, and I heard, like, Urshifu was really strong when it came out, but it didn't, like, it's not getting the same regard as Zacian, so we have, like, restricted legendary versus mythical. Oh man, Pokemon scheming is just kind of weird like that. Even going to, like, Zapdos being a thing where, like, Zapdos is a legendary, Rayquaza being restricted legendary, the Regis are also just, like, the PvE part of the game, but they want to introduce other legendary Pokemon as licenses. Wow. Pokemon Unite has placed a great importance on expressing the personality of each Pokemon through gameplay mechanics, and I think that is a major success, which is why I'm really happy to see Inteleon and a lot of the other Pokemon that were like, Aegislash just has to be in, and it works so well. As such, we are designing legendary Pokemon become the leaders of their respective teams. That's not how the game's designed. The game's kind of designed as like a standard 5 yeah, this is actually worth its own video, dang. Comment talking points down below that you want to see in the Pokemon Unite Legendary Pokemon discussion video, since I've been out of the game, but I still think this is interesting, because, like, maybe it'll get a resurgence, maybe it'll be worth coming back to. Doesn't seem like it right now, but, you know, it's still good to keep an eye on it, in case, like, Pokemon Unite is worth playing at some point. So, yeah, like, it's 5 supposedly equal Pokemon. Like, support Pokemon are very strong, and there's been times in the game where Pokemon like Eldegoss are must-pick, must-use Pokemon, other supports as well. So, like, it's not like, oh yeah, the carry is supposed to be the team leader. It's like, yeah, but that carry without an Eldegoss, a Mr. Mime, a Chansey in its pocket, like Cinderace Chansey or whatever crazy meta was going on. What I'm getting at is that the roles in Pokemon are actually relatively balanced for everyone having equal contribution to winning the game. Now, the Pokemon, you can still just, like, pick a terrible support or terrible defender or terrible attacker Pokemon, but overall, like, yeah, the roles seem pretty balanced. It's not like there's a legendary Pokemon role or a legendary Pokemon and then 4 normal Pokemon, and that's the team composition. They're kind of building that. Also, that makes it kind of weird, like Mewtwo and Zacian on the same team. Unless they're trying to restrict it to where you can only have 1 legendary Pokemon. But then that makes people that want to pick and main those legendary Pokemon rough. We are designing legendary Pokemon become leaders of the respective teams, conveying their strengths through their capabilities, while giving them weaknesses in exchange for strength. I don't like that idea of balance, where it's like 90% no counterplay, but 10% just like the hardest counterplay. And usually, like, there's something that gets rid of that counterplay weakness, like, oh, just CC him, bro. And then you put CC immunity or just overly support it, and it gets away with that. We've seen this in the main series competitive Pokemon, really starting in Generation 7 with Ultra Beasts, but getting crazier and crazier with every generation, where a Pokemon like Regieleki exists, where it's like, yeah, this thing's the fastest thing ever. Its ability also multiplies its attack into a higher tier than you expect, so just like the fastest, highest damagey thing ever, but also is Giga Frail. And we're seeing these other weird weaknesses where, like, yeah, Fluttermane can exist because it has 50 hit points, 50 defense. So if you exploit it on a physical hit, either Sweeper or Priority, or just Bruisery physical hit, like Fluttermane doesn't exist, outside of that, it breaks the game. Technically, Blissey walls 99% of special attackers in the game. Technically folds to physical Pokemon, but if you run Defense Curl, that goes away, and if you have that turn to set up, Blissey can handle everything, or Chansey. It's like, it's not a healthy game design, because people will complain about Skarmobliss back in Generation 4, ruining the competitive integrity of Pokemon. So that exchange needs to be done well, and we haven't seen it with Zacian. We modeled this concept by making Zacian's Rusted Sword take up 1 of the 3 held item slots. That wasn't enough. Items are not that powerful, especially when it's usually, like, the 2 most powerful items on the Pokemon, and then third, like, yeah, Focus Band, yeah, Buddy Barrier, yeah, Wise Glasses for just, like, a little bit of modification, because Wise Glasses isn't plus 7% damage. it's 7% ability power, which also is usually less than the base damage. So it's like, Wise Glasses, 3% more damage on your character. You can get rid of that item slot to have a legendary Pokemon that's 30% more powerful. We'll be exploring opportunities to refine this concept even further when balancing the unique Pokemon in Unite and the evolving style of competitive play. Except competitive play doesn't evolve because it's a dead game with a dead scene that's underdeveloped that isn't really growing at all, and tournament play is laughably unskilled still. So yeah, basing off of that competitive play is not, like, balancing off of that, not good, and also kind of helps Pokemon Unite being dead. As a result of player feedback moving forward, we'll be releasing all Pokemon, including legendary Pokemon, for public testing on the public test server and make sure the adjustments are happening. But even then, like, the public testing is so obscure and, like, the regions and stuff are so small that, like, you're not getting enough feedback for it to be properly done. In-game competitions, we'd like to thank everyone for their participation in our 2 previous test competitions, planning to hold regular in-game tournaments. I've heard about the in-game competitions. I feel like that's something that might help Pokemon Unite just, like, be interesting or, like, worth playing for most people, or maybe get new people into the game. Because, like, you need a competitive ladder, you need to feel like you're actually doing something, and the rank system ranking you against 5-stack teams, which have an unfair advantage, even now, where it's, like, the same ladder. So they split the queues, but they didn't split the ladder, which is the dumbest thing. It's like, yeah, there's no incentive to play, and there's no reward that actually makes you feel like you're accomplishing anything inside the game. So in-game competitions, where everything is, like, all nice and done for you is cool. Was this Japan only? I heard about 2 in-game competitions, but I didn't know if it was a global thing yet, or how regular it's become, or, like, how that participation works. So, like, that's a good system. That's nice. If it's still clunky and it's, like, still taking time, then comment that down below. These tournaments feature draft pick, which allows players to take turns selecting Pokemon for their teams, and then banning a Pokemon for the match. We hope that this will be a way for trainers to enjoy highly competitive matches more easily. That's what it needs. Like, you need proper competition, easier to access, and all that fun stuff, and then battling continues. So yeah, guys, that's Pokemon news we have today. Stuff is happening. Like, it's bubbling up. Things are interesting. No, like, hard, crazy Pokemon news to get into. But like I said, anime's got things, merchandise has got things, in-game events have got things, and then, like, this is developing and gets cool, and then we got trailer stuff happening at some point soon, and DLC, and now there's actually, like, things going on, and we got back-to-back DLC. It's not going to be like Sword and Shield. It's summer, like, Sword and Shield was summer into winter. Now we're going fall into winter, so we're just going to have, like, jam-packed DLC. Rest of the year is good. We survived the content drought of summer. And now maybe Pokemon has something interesting, but no major news. Like, we still need battle replays. We need an official simulator, Pokemon Battle Revolution 2. But we got, like, hey, it's only 7 months until Pokemon Day now. We got 2 DLC drops in winter break until then, so, you know, things are happening. Hope you guys enjoy the video. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you very much for watching.